to this prediction of 2024 November for internal candidates, okay, who are writing this examination, okay. So please, dear pupils, you have to go through this prediction, okay. You might meet some of the topics which are in here. So these topics are high probable of being, or they will be there present in your exam, okay. So I came up with an analysis. I looked at different sample papers which were written before, comparing and seeing exactly what might be given, because we always predict from a skip of topics. Okay, so there are always topics that are mostly given. Now we usually look at the year where the topic is given, and then also the skip. Okay, so like for example, in the previous paper, if they didn't bring, they might bring, and so forth. That's how the examiner usually bring questions. Okay, so I hope this will be useful. So let's get started to the prediction. So for the section A, okay, so the first part, we always know that on the first part they can give the effects of osmosis, okay, osmosis and then its effects, okay. So you have to study the effects of osmosis. Like for example, you have to study turgidity. What is turgidity in plants? Then also you have to study cell crenation, and then you study cell lysis, and then also you look at the effect of osmosis on a potato. Okay, so if you're carrying out that experiment where you use Irish potatoes, and then also you determine the effect of osmosis on the potato, what happens to the potato size. So that part you have to know it. And then on the other part also, you need to study aerobic respiration, and then in aerobic respiration, you have to review the uses of energy in the body of an organism. Okay, then also you need to know the products of aerobic respiration, and then anaerobic respiration, we need to know the products. And then sometimes they can even give you the graphical representation of lactic acid that might be given on to you. Okay, so on the same part also on section A, okay, they might even bring a detailed structure of the cell. So what can be given, they can give specialized cells, okay, like you have to study ciliated cells, you have to study the phloem cell, okay, and then the phloem cell, and then they associate the companion cell. You have to know the function of the companion cell, and then also you need to know the labeled structure of a cell, okay. So that part is also important, and then also you need to know organization of the cell organization. You have to study what an organelle is, okay, the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulums, okay, and then you have to know the function of the Golgi apparatus, and so many others. Those are things that you have to look at. And then also they can ask you a question on the microscope. You have to review the microscope, the parts of the microscope, and then also the actual parts of the cell that can be viewed on the microscope. So that part also you have to look at it. Okay, even though I didn't indicate in here, but you look at the microscope. Okay, and then also on question 2 this time around, okay, looking at the previous paper, they can ask on enzymes. So enzymes, you have to take them seriously. Okay, so you look at the enzyme, and then also you look at the substrate. What is a substrate? And then also you look at characteristics of enzymes. Okay, so on enzymes you focus much on the graph and then the characteristics. Then also the enzyme reaction. Okay, you need to know which one is a substrate. You have to identify what a substrate is. Then you have to identify the active site. Then also you need to identify the products. Okay, so that part you have to know it. And then also on the same part you have to know intracellular and then extracellular enzymes. Okay, so that part you need to know. And then also the application of enzymes, where are enzymes applied. Okay, so you have to know baking, you have to know brewing of alcohol, you have to know in making detergent pastes, okay, and then also you need to know enzymes are used to control sewage, okay, low sewage, and then also in treatment of low sewage, you can even say in that way. So that part you have to know that part also. And then also you need to know graphical representation of the enzymes, okay, it's still very important. And then on the other side also you need to know digestion. Digestion is important, okay. as the second part. So digestion, you have to identify the parts of the alimentary canal. So you need to know the esophagus, you need to know the stomach, you need to know the liver, and then also the pancreas, and then also the ailments of the liver. Okay, so you need to know hepatitis, okay, and then also you need to know some other conditions that can lead to the liver not functioning. Okay, so you have to know those parts. Okay, and then also need to know the ailments of the colony. You need to know constipation, diarrhea, and so forth. So also this other one, you have to look at the enzymes involved in digestion, okay, especially in the small intestine, and then also in the mouth, okay, and then also in the stomach. So in the mouth, you have to know salivary amylase, okay, and then what it breaks. And then also you need to know peristalsis in terms of movement. That movement of food in the esophagus is peristalsis. So peristalsis, you need to know it, okay, and then the contraction of muscles. Then also you need to know the stomach, the type of acid produced in the stomach, and then the function of gastric juice. You need to know that, okay, and then also you need to know the role of the liver, okay, in digestion. What is the role of the liver in digestion? You have to know the role of the liver in digestion, okay, and then also you need to take note of the actual completion of digestion, okay. So you have to know the function of protease, you have to know the function of lipase, those enzymes that are involved in breaking down of food substances. You have to study those. So I'll make a video about digestion and then the enzymes, and then we'll see off on how you can understand the topic fully. But the topic is very serious for this time. They'll ask on it. Okay, and then also looking at the question 3. Now, question 3, like last time, we didn't have the structure of the leaf. So here there are 4 things that can be given, okay? One, they can give you the structure of the leaf. So when it comes to the structure of the leaf, then you have to know the cuticle. You need to know the layers of the leaf, okay? So you need to know the layers of the leaf, and then also you need to know that the leaf is an organ. Then also you need to know the tissues of the leaf. Okay, so we have the epidermis, the epidermal tissue, where you have to know palisade layer, which is made up of palisade cells. Okay, you need to know the spongy layer. Okay, so that is important for preparation of on questions relating to a leaf. Okay, and then also you need to know the functions of the guard cell. Okay, the guard cells, and then also the movement of water molecules from the ground to the leaves. You need to know the type of processes. You need to know osmosis from the ground to the roots, osmosis, and then in the xylem, you need to know what we call um, transpiration pool, okay, and then the related forces to transpiration pool. So when it comes to transpiration pool, you need to know adhesive and then cohesive forces, okay. Those are forces that are experienced by water when it is moving, and then also you need to know minerals. Okay, how are minerals transported? So you need to know active transport, okay, and then the use of energy by active transport. That part is important. And then looking at this other one, so the other one, you have to know the importance of transpiration in the plant. What are the importance of transpiration in the plant, or what are the importances of um, losing of water through the stomata? What are some of the importances? So you have to know those parts, okay. Then on the other side, on the same question, on question 3, this time they can ask on gaseous exchange. Okay, so gaseous exchange has to be taken into consideration also when studying. They can ask on the alveoli. Okay, so what could be the function of the let me say, what are the parts of the alveoli, and then the adaptation of the alveoli to gaseous exchange. You need to know the adaptation of the alveoli to gaseous exchange, and then also you need to know inspiration, okay, and then the changes to the intercostal muscles. You have to know the muscles, how the muscles are muscles, and then the diaphragm change, okay, during inspiration and then expiration. That part is important. And then also you have to look at smoking. What are the effects of smoking on the respiratory surfaces. Okay, so you have to know the effects of smoking. It causes emphysema, it causes bronchitis, it causes tuberculosis. So those parts you have to know those. Okay. Then also they can ask you the adaptation of the alveoli to gaseous exchange. So you have to look at those areas. Okay. Yes, and then on the other side, we have on question 3, they can ask you on excretion. So excretion this time around, you have to take it into serious consideration. So you need to know excretion, okay, the nephrons, okay, you need to know excretion, the nephron, and then the actual glomerular filtration, okay, and then also they can bring a dialysis machine. So here you have to know a nephron. Okay, so you look at the Bowman's capsule, you look at the loop of Henry, you look at the convoluted tubule, all those parts you have to know them. Even the proximal convoluted tubule, you have to know those parts. Okay, and then also you need to know the pituitary gland and then the antidiuretic hormone. Okay, so those parts are important. So you are studying this question. So this question is very important. And this time around is more expected to be present. So you need to know this question, okay? And then moving on, we have on the same question, question 3, because question 3 has many, okay? You should also study dentition. So dentition this time it might be given. So you study dentition, okay? So you have to look at the dental formula. Oh, this was to be dental. So you have to look at the dental formula. Something is not right here. So you need to know the dental formula. So the dental formula of the human being is important, okay? So you should put a dental formula, okay? So you need to know the dental formula, and then also you need to identify the dental formula, and then also labeling the parts of the tooth. Okay, so the parts of the tooth such as the nerve, okay, and then also the pulp cavity, you need to know the dentine, then you need to know the enamel, and then the gum, the cement, you have to know those parts. And then also you need to know how tooth decay is brought about. So teeth decay and then how it is brought about is also important for this time. Okay, and then also a little bit of calculation about dentition. So they will ask you to calculate the number of teeth in the human being, for example. So you need to know the calculations. And then also you have to state the type of feeding based on the dental formula. That part is important. Okay. So and then on the same part we have the life cycle of the housefly. You need to know a life cycle of the housefly. Okay, the pupa stage. Okay, and then also you need to know the larval stage, okay, the egg stage, and then the adult stage. You need to know those particular stages. Okay, then also you need to know the term vector. So what is a vector? Okay, so vectors basically are disease transmitting organisms. So you need to know what a vector is. Then also you need to know exactly at which stage of the life cycle is an organism a vector. Okay, and then the pathogen which is carried by the by the vector. Okay, so we have biological vectors, like for example a mosquito is one of the biological vector, and then also the housefly is the mechanical vector. So you need to know types of vectors, okay, and then the disease which they transmit. And then also you need to look at the ecology. Ecology is important for this time, they might ask it. You need to know what a food web is, okay, and then which one is the producer, which one is the consumer, and then which one, for example, is a consumer and the tertiary consumer, and then also the secondary consumer. So you need to know the consumers, okay, then also the producer, and then also you need to know a food chain, because they can ask you construct a simple food chain. So you have to know what a food chain is. And then also the pyramid, the flow, the pyramids, and then the flow of energy at each and every trophic level. So this part has to be studied, okay. And then on the same part also in question 3 they can ask on the skeleton. Okay, so you need to know the parts of the synovial joints. Okay, so the parts like the ligament capsule, you need to know the ligament capsule. You need to know the bones. Like for example, you need to know the radius, the ulna. You need to know those, and then also the actual hinge joint. You need to know a hinge joint. Okay, they can ask you, and then also you need to know bicep and triceps. okay, when it comes to human being. And then for insects, you need to know a flexor muscle, and then also you need to know an extensor muscle, especially of the grasshopper. So these two muscles have to be known, okay. And then question five, we already know that this is genetics. So genetics can come in many forms, okay. So they can put F1 and F2 generations. We have pedigree diagrams of hemophilia, red green color blindness, okay. These might be given, and then also variation can be given, but variation I'll make a topic, I'll make a video, and then we'll see it in paper one. Variation is in paper one, mostly is given in paper one. So that topic is for paper one. We'll make a guide and then you look at it. All right, so we go to section C, okay. So in section C, the expected first topics we can have describing types of respiration, okay. So you describe types of tissue respiration. So you need to know aerobic and anaerobic respiration, uses of energy in living organisms, and then also the application of respiration. So you need to know the application of respiration, okay. And then you also need to know transpiration. Okay, this is the other second one. Transpiration, you need to know transpiration, the use of a potometer, and then also the importance of water in a plant. Now, on this same question, question one, sometimes they can ask you to prepare, or let me say food tests. Food tests also are important. Okay, so for question one, they can put food tests there. They can ask you explain how you can test for starch, okay, or how you can test for proteins. So you have to go back on food tests. You review food tests, and then also you look at the reagents that are used, okay. And then looking at this other one, so we have question two. Question two, we have blood composition, okay, and the blood disorders. So you need to know blood disorders like anemia, okay. You need to know anemia, sickle cell anemia. You need to know leukemia, okay. You need also to know some cancers that affect blood, okay. Yes, and so many others. Hemophilia, you need to know all those blood disorders, okay. And then also you look at importance of immunity against diseases. So immunity is also important, okay. So you have to study immunity. You have to study passive immunity, okay. You need to study active immunity, okay. And then also how the lymph nodes work in preventing infections, okay, or in immunity, how the lymph nodes work in immunity. So the lymph nodes, you have to know the lymphatic system. So the lymph nodes are present on the lymphatic system. So you have to know the lymph nodes, okay. And then also you need to know the nutritional disorders in plants. Okay, so nutrition disorders, we have leaf chlorosis, we have slender leaves, okay, and then also we have this other one, which is the stunted growth. You need to know those deficiencies and the nutritional disorders, okay. And then also and human beings. In human beings, you have to know rickets, okay. You have to know marasmus, you have to know kwashiorkor, okay. You need to know goiter and so many others, okay. So those ones you have to know them. And then also on the question three, they can ask you to explain types of growth with reference to plants, okay. So you need to know primary growth, secondary growth, and then the roles of auxins in a shoot receiving light in one direction. So this is important, okay. So you have to know even the rad corresponding to gravity. So this topic is the part and parcel of each and every exam. Most of the times it comes in each and every exam. Okay, so the question usually comes in many. And then also you need to know tropic responses. Okay, you have to know what tropic response and taxic response is. And then you explain the difference using examples. So you have to explain the two, okay? And then also we have the other questions. We have question four. So in question four, we can have a natural and artificial method of propagation. You need to know natural method of propagation and then artificial method of propagation. And then also you need to know the disadvantages. Okay. Now, this question interchanges with the parts of the flower. You need to know the parts of a flower and then you explain the parts of the flower. Okay. And then also the importance of seed dispersion. So seed dispersion also you have to study it. Okay, you have to study how are seeds dispersed, and then the mode of dispersion. Okay, so this question interchanges with that one. Okay, so and then also you have to look at puberty. Okay, you need to know what puberty is, the determinants of puberty, like the environment. Okay, we have hormones and so many others. You need to know that. Then HIV and AIDS, what are the causes, how is it transmitted, and then also stigmatization, and then the ways of reducing stigmatization. So it is important to review this. Okay, and then also you have to look at this important topic, the skeleton. The skeleton, you have to study it, the functions of the skeleton, the vertebral column, explaining the parts of the synovial joint. So this part is very, very important, okay? And then also you have to review the endocrine system, just on question 4. You review the endocrine system, the roles of thyroxine, adrenaline, insulin, and then also glucagon, okay? And then you have to look at the terms, what is meant by good health, and then chronic heart disease. So you have to see through in those. And then the last question we have, you have to look at ecological terms. So when it comes to ecological terms, you have to look at what a habitat is. Okay, you have to know what a niche is. Okay, you have to also know a community about factors, and then on the other side you need to know the carbon cycle. Okay, you need to know processes on the carbon cycle, and then the importance of biodiversity, or sometimes said to be conservation. Why do we conserve? Okay, so that is important. And then also you need to study the factors that make the soil fertile, and then how soil, loss of soil fertility is brought about. So you have to study these topics effectively, okay, for effective preparation. So we come to an end, and thank you for watching, and also thanking those subscribers who are subscribing to my channel. Please continue, and then also if you are in need of materials regarding this preparation, okay, you have to contact the numbers, okay, and then also um, you also put the comments in the section. You put your line in the comments, and then I'll add you in the WhatsApp group, and then I'll be able to send you the materials. Okay, so have a good part 3 revision. Okay, and also remember to share the link and support the channel. Okay, thank you.